So, tell me something terrible. That seems particularly sour. It's more sour than whiskey.
Yeah. Are we recording right now?
Oh, yeah, we just started. Welcome.
Okay.
This is where you do the introduction. You say your name and then the podcast.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hello, I'm Scott.
And you're listening to something. Oh, you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Did my voice throw you off that much?
Yes.
Good.
Serenading.
Also, my beard touched the microphone while I did that. It was a little weird for both of us. Me and the microphone.
Oh, it wasn't you and the beard? Your beard was fine with it?
No, I'm one with the beard.
I see. That explains a lot.
What's your terrible topic?
So today we are going to talk about the terrible and...
You don't have to read it to me. Just give me
No, I have to.
No.
My brain.
2 words. What's the topic?
Karen Silkwood.
Never heard of her.
You have.
Don't tell me what I don't know.
No, I know. I was the one that told you. Tried to tell you. Failed miserably.
Okay.
So this is going to repair that damage.
If I don't listen this time, I can listen next time?
A third time?
Yes. It's on audio. Are you excited for when our daughter grows up and can listen to all these?
Yeah, right. The world's going to end before that happens.
Well, yeah, but they're also going to be saved on the internet forever. Or on this computer.
Yeah, but if the world ends, then the grid will go down.
Okay, but just assuming some baseline. Anyway.
You're clearly way more optimistic about the future than I am.
This is a fact, actually. But, all right, tell me about Karen Silkwood.
Yes. This is the first topic that I've covered that I know other podcasts have covered. There's
300,000 podcasts as of a year ago, so there's probably 1 million now. That's going to happen.
One that we both listen to. One that I've made you listen to.
Okay.
Okay.
So I might remember.
You haven't. I don't think you've made it this far.
I've also only listened to 2 podcasts in the last year or so.
Oh, we got to change that.
I mean, 2, multiple episodes of 2 different podcasts. Yes.
Okay.
3 if you include this one. Just because I have to when I edit it. I don't just listen when I'm driving to my self-talk. That would be narcissism or whatever.
Yeah, a little sociopathic.
I don't think it's sociopathic.
No, there's other things about you that are sociopathic besides listening.
Just read your stupid story. Wow.
So
I hope they thought that was you saying wow.
Oh.
I'm going to voice change that so it sounds just like her.
Oh, good luck.
I don't know how to do any of that. But
yeah.
I'm
really
quite
put your audio editing to the test.
I prefer junior audio engineer.
Have you interrupted me enough? I haven't even started yet.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Let's start.
Thank you. Love you.
Karen Silkwood. I'm not saying it this time.
Okay. So remember when we were waiting in line for the Hulk ride at the Universal Studios and I very poorly described to you the case behind the Silkwood showers?
Yeah. I remember because we couldn't have our phones because you had to put them in a locker because the Hulk ride goes upside down.
Yes.
And there's signs that say lab technicians only, and you dared me to go through them because I'm technically a lab technician, even though they were just props.
Why you got to steal all my jokes, man?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Proceed.
It's almost like we're the same person. We've spent too much time together alone this last year.
Sorry, my jokes aren't scripted, homie. Oh.
Ow! It's because I have anxiety.
Okay, read your scripted jokes.
Thank you. No, they're just more like little
Wait, was that a
parentheses.
Hulk impression? No. Was that okay, sorry.
No, I put in little parentheses like side notes, and then I usually stumble my way through them because I'm not as funny and my timing is poor.
Do you write little ha-has next to them?
No LOLs or ha-has, just question marks. If nobody you really want to know.
Nobody can see my shoulders moving when I said that.
Just really embodying Alexa over here.
Alexa?
Alexis.
Wow.
I know.
All right, we're going to rewatch Schitt's Creek after this.
Yes, it's our favorite show, I swear. So anyway, this is going to be an opportunity to fix my poor telling of that story. So since that's all I do is tell you really terrible things. So
Yeah, and then we decided to make it a podcast.
Yep.
And here we are.
yes, in case you really needed our backstory.
But if you made it to episode 6 without the backstory, good on ya. Is that a Midwestern thing?
No, I think that's
Where's good on ya from?
Australia.
Oh.
Don't. No. You better watch out for your foreign accents. They get
No,
explicit.
It's fine.
So on November 13th, 1974, Karen Silkwood, a lab technician, was headed to a meeting with a New York Times reporter named David Burnham with a file full of evidence to support...
Silkwood Burnham.
Yes.
Okay. I just keeping everyone straight here.
The name doesn't really matter. I just found it and was like, ooh, information.
Ooh.
So with a file full of evidence to support her claims that her employers, Kerr McGee, or McGee? McGee.
It's definitely McGee.
Okay.
McGee's not a thing.
Was blatantly putting employees at the Plutonium plant in Crescent, Oklahoma at risk of exposure due to poor quality control and lax safety procedures.
We're just jumping like straight in here, huh?
Yep.
Okay. She works at a plutonium place, something in McGee.
Kerr McGee's the owners of a plutonium manufacturer in Crescent, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Need more wine?
No, I need more bullet points.
Okay.
Okay.
So she never made it to that meeting. Her car hit a concrete culvert wall, killing her. After she swerved off the road, the folder full of evidence was never found. There was alcohol and quaaludes found in her system, and so it was concluded that she fell asleep at the wheel. Within minutes, the tow truck that was sent out to the scene of the accident was called back, and the Kerr McGee employees arrived on scene with a state trooper. Super sus, right?
Yeah, minorly.
I mean, to be fair, they also had to, test for contamination.
Oh, because she just drove off, yeah.
Because she was contaminated.
With plutonium.
Yeah.
I just am having all these Homer Simpson, visions of, leaving, his job, the nuclear power. Yeah.
She legit did that. That was her job.
Nice.
Yes. They made rods of plutonium in this factory. This, plant. Not factory. It's not a factory.
And that's why she was on Quaaludes.
Probably.
How do you... Never mind, I don't want to know how to spell Quaaludes. Anyway.
There's 2 A's, in case you care.
Where?
In the beginning. Quaa.
Oh. Not that far in the beginning.
No. The front half of the word.
That's fine. Proceed.
So what's even more sus is that according to the police report, there were skid marks at the scene and a dent in her rear bumper.
Road? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Even though she fell asleep.
I didn't know she shit her pants. Sorry. Dad jokes. Woo.
So there were skid marks on the road at the scene of the accident, and a dent in her rear bumper with different color paint chips than her car.
So she's run off the road.
Allegedly.
Potentially.
Suspectedly. Yeah. Suspectedly?
Potentially. Suspiciously.
That's what I was looking for.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Proceed.
It was speculated that someone pushed her off the road. Because why would there be skid marks if she was asleep at the wheel?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yep. So Karen was also the head of the union committee, advocating for a safer work environment within the plant.
How dare she?
I know, that bitch. I mean, Karen.
What a Karen. Sorry, Mom. You definitely don't listen to this.
No way. I'm pretty sure she'd be forcing us to get a divorce at this point.
We're in it together.
So, yeah, right. She put all the blame on me. That tattooed. Have you seen her hair? She's got piercings. Oh, God. What has my son done?
I'm not denying this.
No, I love your family. I just know I'm the outcast. So just months before, members of the union board met with the EAC, which I think stood for the Environmental Advisory Committee, ? Because I lost where I put that information.
Like the EPO of today almost?
EPA?
Yeah.
Kind of. There's the...
Definitely environmental something. Yep.
Environmental Protection Agency. So this happened in the 70s. So there's been the EAC and the NRC and a bunch of other committees, and now there's the
committees.
Committees. Whiskey's hitting me. And then now there's the DEQ and the EPA. You know, Simpsons EPA. So it's a committee that oversees nuclear power facilities. I really hope I'm not slaughtering this because I do not want to hear any like George Bush jokes because he could not say nuclear. Nuclear?
You couldn't say what?
Nuclear?
You're doing a great job.
Oh, and so like I've always been super self-conscious because when I hear him say it and then I hear myself say it, I'm like, oh God, I sound just like him.
It's pronounced knuckle ear.
Just so everyone's clear.
Just how it's spelled. That's the best part.
Yep. So they were to discuss the allegations regarding the, quote, concerning working conditions, such as health and safety hazards, missing plutonium, and false...
Someone just taking it home in their lunch pail. Oh, you should do the Radium Girls. Anyway, proceed.
I do love the Radium Girls. We have that on audio.
Book.
Yes.
We do.
So in falsifications of quality control records, these allegations included 40 pounds of missing plutonium, pellets of plutonium scattered about the ground outside the facility. So there was like 25 pellets found on the ground, which is around 3 to 4 handfuls. But according to reports, it was concluded the pellets were, quote, not placed there by accident.
Well, when, they use it as ice melt. Those cold days, they just sprinkle some outside. The snow, it just evaporated. It's amazing.
And suddenly there's fish with 3 eyes.
Just with my voice. We have to have one Harry Potter reference. Is my turn.
Now we're going to have to go back and check other episodes and squeak them in there and hope no one notices.
I think they're pretty much all in there.
Really?
No idea.
It's not worth
I've listened to all the episodes. You go do it.
Someone else tell us if we have Harry Potter. Just keep a tallying run of all the Harry Potter references. That'd be great. Thanks. So,
thanks.
And they also were accused of touching up quality control photos of the rods that they were producing with a felt tip marker.
Well, who hasn't touched up a picture of their rod? Oh, I mean felt tip. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Are these Polaroids? How do you touch up a photo?
It's the 70s. Yeah.
With a felt tip marker?
That's what they are. I read.
They're drawing little safety hats because they're not wearing them. Like stick figure guys in lab coats. Oh yeah, we definitely did this by the book.
No, it's the quality control. Quality QC control pictures, photos of just the rods themselves in manufacturing. You know how you run QC tests on your lab, doesn't matter. So this could lead
I don't
to
touch it up with a Sharpie though.
No. So this could lead to catastrophic nuclear events. The workers were also in the middle of negotiations to break the old union and create a new one that protected workers better. So this folder that was in her car, a couple of documents were found and returned to Karen's boyfriend. Dramatic page turn. But not nearly the amount that was allegedly on her person. That was said to contain phone tape conversations, photographs, and other evidence to support Karen's claims that Kerr-McGee was acting negligently. And Karen herself was also walking proof because she was contaminated. Big yawns? Oh,
no,
good job.
No, that was a dramatic pause. Not a yawn that almost dislocated my jaw.
You can tell we have a child. So 9 days earlier, on November 5th, 1974, Karen started her shift working in a lab directly with the plutonium. She had been working in a glove box, which is I'm assuming from what I saw in my mind's eye, and also maybe influenced from Simpsons, where they've got those big gloves, like Homer, where he shoves his hands in and he's messing with the rods.
No, this place is so shady. She's actually in her car working in her glove box. She's sitting in her passenger seat. She just folds it down. Yeah, there's plutonium just glowing in front of her
while she's eating her lunch.
She's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So they call it a glove box. So it's in the metallography lab where she was grinding and polishing plutonium pellets that would be used to make the fuel rods. So at 6:30 p.m., Karen checked herself for contamination on a detector mounted to the glove box she was working in. And I have no idea what any of these measurements, they had ridiculous...
Geiger counter measurements?
Oh, yeah, in the tens of thousands, and there was 90,000 this unit, and 120 this unit.
You get to 1 million, your girl with second head.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Or organs start melting on the inside. So we're just going to stick with the basics.
Can you imagine if organs melted on the outside? Way worse.
Yes, just bulging through your skin and just...
You're just walking home and your stomach falls out behind you.
Ugh. So the detector read that she had some really high levels of contamination, mostly on her right sleeve and shoulder of her coveralls, and they read somewhere that it was on her hands as well, which means it had to have come from the insides of the gloves that she was using. She was then taken to the plant's health physics office, where she was given a nasal swipe to check for any airborne plutonium exposure. It also came up positive. So, but none of the other areas of her workspace or the 2 air filters and monitors detected any contamination. So, as a precaution, urine and feces samples were collected from her for the next 5 days, and she returned to the lab at 1:10 a.m. to finish her shift.
Because you're not really contaminated unless you're crapping out plutonium. Otherwise, you're fine. Just wash your hands. Go home.
She craps out plutonium. It's
Poo-tonium.
Plutonium. It's everywhere. On the walls, just in the back of the toilet.
She literally had nuclear diarrhea.
Yes.
Terrific.
So the next day, she went to work back to the lab to do some paperwork, checked out to go to a medium.
Karen, why are you glowing? Are you pregnant? Sorry.
So she checked out to go to a meeting. She checked herself again for contamination and found it on her hands. So the health physics staff found more activity on her right arm again and the right side of her neck and face. And this is where the this is where she was...
fall asleep on the glove box. Like your whole right side is just contaminated.
But also, like, you're not supposed to... There shouldn't be any contamination anyway. Like, it's supposed to be in this little box that you don't touch. So this is where she was taken to decontamination. And this is where Silkwood showers come from. So according to a couple different articles I read, and this scene from the movie Silkwood, which is based off of her story, and apparently you can't find anywhere. I tried to find it. Georgia from MFM tried to find it. It's like, I guess it's on YouTube. I watched a clip from it on YouTube, but you cannot find the full movie.
Huh.
The staff members, they were decked in head to toe in PPE. They stripped her down in a decontamination room and washed and scrubbed her with these like hard bristle, almost wire-looking brushes to help remove any particles of plutonium, butt-ass naked.
I mean, you are all for exfoliation, but that seems a bit extreme.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then her locker...
And I also have the vision of Farva from Super Troopers where they're throwing the powdered sugar at him.
I thought it was flour.
No, it's sugar for the rice. And he licks it, remember? And he's like, it's delicious.
I guess maybe that's why I thought it was so cringy, because I thought it was flour.
Why does he think flour is delicious? He really is a fat guy.
So her locker and her car was checked for contamination, but none was found. On November 7th, Karen reported back to work. So this is now 2 days after they first initially found contamination on her on the 5th. So on November 7th, Karen was reported back to the health physics office at the start of her shift with her samples, and another nasal swab was done, and her right side was checked for contamination. All of them showed high levels of exposure, which they call alpha activity. Her car and locker were checked again, and again there was nothing. So they commence another Silkwood shower with the stripping down and the harsh scrubbing by coworkers, looking like they are in an alien movie. Is that a scripted joke for you? Her apartment was... I hate you.
Oh, you held up the laugh sign. I thought that's what you were... Oh, no.
Yeah, you're lucky you're cute. Her apartment was then checked for radioactive activity, and they found the highest readings in the bathroom, on the toilet, floor mat, and the floor, and some in the kitchen on bologna that was in the fridge, and on the stoves, cabinets, and some chicken.
Okay.
It's literally just like it's
any porous surface she touches.
Yeah. So then her roommate and which was a fellow lab employee, was also tested positive, but this was only a small amount. When asked why there was alpha activity everywhere, Karen said she accidentally spilled one of her urine samples. And as for the bologna, since she had spilled the urine samples all over the toilet and the floor, she had carried the package into the bathroom with her after she had intended to make a sandwich for herself and for lunch, and she sat it down on the closed toilet seat, which then caused it to get contaminated. And then when she put it back in the refrigerator, that contaminated the chicken, we know how cross-contamination works. I hope. Please tell me people know how cross-contamination works now.
You can tell it's the 1970s, too, because she's eating bologna.
What kind of tacos did you have when you were growing up?
Tacos?
Didn't you make yourself your little bologna and... No, that was cheese and ketchup.
Yeah, cheese and ketchup sandwiches when I was like 5. Don't judge me. I was a child.
Don't judge this poor lady. She likes her bologna.
I mean, fried bologna's not bad. It's like bacon.
You almost said fine.
No, it can be good.
It's just like hot dogs.
I'm not judging her. I'm just saying you can tell it's the 70s. Like, my dad loves bologna. Ring bologna to him's like gourmet.
Ew.
And he slice it up, fry it, he puts it on a piece of white bread with some mustard. That's like fine dining.
And drinks it down with a glass of whole milk.
I mean, if it's dinner. Oh. If it's lunch, it's a Diet Coke.
She then decided not to make the sandwich, and she put it back in the fridge. The fact that this bologna...
With her urine-covered bologna... I mean, her plutonium-covered bologna.
Yes,
yeah.
And this is a really important fact later on.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody, remember, at 22 minutes, urine bologna. I mean, plutonium bologna.
Legit, this has been 22 minutes? There's no way.
Okay, I'm not lying to you. I can read.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, after editing,
I gotta
it might
speed
be
this
less.
up, bro.
Yeah, hurry up, Nance.
So, after her accident...
People gotta go to work and stuff. Let's do this.
After her accident, an autopsy was performed and tissue samples were sent to be tested. They found plutonium settled in her lungs.
Wait,
and
autopsy? When did she die?
Are you kidding me?
What did you say?
Her autopsy.
Oh, after her car accident.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I forgot the car accident killed her, all right? Last I knew, she was peeing on bologna and dropping it all over her bathroom. And now all of a sudden, there's an autopsy. Like, it all happened the same day, okay? I don't know.
It happened within a week of each other.
I get that now, but...
Man, my mom voice came out strong.
Are you serious? Open your frickin' ears. It's way past my bedtime, okay? I ran out of cheese in episode 5. That's not a joke, I did.
So they found that plutonium had settled in her lungs. When she was alive, the levels read at half the amount of the maximum level allowed in the body before it becomes concerning. But after refilling her lungs and with no pesky ribs in the way to skew the results, it was discovered that she had 50% more in her lungs than what was initially thought. When she was alive, the doctors that worked for Kerr McGee assured her that after her examination that the amount of plutonium found in her body would not cause cancer. Later on, when this case went to trial, there was a doctor that testified that there was twice the amount of plutonium allowed inside her lungs, and that someone with as much plutonium as she had in her body was, quote, married to lung cancer.
Nice. Always trust the nuclear power plant's doctors. They're probably working in your best interest.
Oh, for sure.
They're not getting paid by the company that hired them at all.
No.
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 They're looking out for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta really love that impartial diagnosis.
Yes. No?
Ew, David. They also found... People are going to be really confused. I'm like, I thought his name was Scott.
Well, and I went Queer Eye, yes, and then you went straight back to
Oh,
Schitt's Creek.
God.
Oh,
It's because Queer Eye hasn't been on lately.
Oh.
They also found...
I really need to hurry this up. Let's take all the detours.
You're distracting.
I'm sorry.
They also found traces of plutonium in her gastrointestinal tract and in more fecal matter samples, proving that at some point Karen had ingested the plutonium somehow. So in court, lawyers also proved several spills that had happened at the plant and that they had cut up trucks and buried them on the site.
What if she smuggled some out suppository style? Have we gone down that path?
It was never mentioned.
40 pounds were missing. I mean, she could take a couple ounces a day, prison style. Hey-o. I'm just saying, if it's that all up in her GI tract, let's not... Maybe she's selling it. Russia?
There was more in
we
her...
don't know.
There was more in her lungs than anywhere else.
Well, okay. She probably didn't smuggle it out in her lungs. You're probably right there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like it when there's things inside of them.
But, a little tucked in her cheek, couple up her cheeks. Anyway, I'm just saying, she could have been smuggling it out. 40 pounds a lot to just go missing.
Yeah. Maybe you should take that up with Kerr McGee, who no longer exists.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like a Sesame Street character still, but
it really does. He's like lime green and kind of like frizzy, and he touches people.
It's actually
sparks.
Kermit and Miss Piggy's offspring.
Mind blown. So after her death, Karen's father took Kerr McGee to court for damages from her exposure to plutonium from the shoddy working conditions and the shit hazard control. After years of arguing that Karen didn't have the high levels of plutonium exposure that would correlate to an accident, that it was exposure consistent with working in that environment. Claiming that she was unstable and had removed plutonium from the plant and put the plutonium on her bologna sandwich to poison herself, to bring down the plant, and to make herself look like a martyr for the anti-nuclear movement. Yeah. Legit, this is what they argued in court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she made a bologna and plutonium sandwich and was just munching on it in her bathroom. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that she could bring down their plant.
It's like a really tangy mayo. I just can't get enough. If you put mayo on your bologna sandwich, get out of here.
So her family finally settled out of court for $1.3 million for damages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was never public record because I think it was a civil court, but yeah, so Kerr McGee seemed to be on the up and up, right?
Yeah, not shady at all.
No.
No.
So Kerr McGee, despite all of its efforts in trying to present a clean and reputable front, closed the Crescent plant in 1975 because of violations found by the government. Then the company filed for bankruptcy and absolved itself in 1979. After a buyer no longer purchased from them after finding flaws in their plutonium rods that they manufactured.
There's all that contaminated bologna mixed in with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's almost like they really did touch up their QC images with felt tip markers and the little safety hats.
Yep.
And after creating a hostile work environment for workers after Karen's death, they required all employees working with the union that Karen was trying to get pushed through, and anyone that complained about the safety hazards to take polygraph tests to determine if they were working with the EAC. So 2 employees in particular were harassed. One of those employees was a higher up. He wound up locked in an empty storage facility with a guard, and then he was transferred to the dirtiest place in the plant to work.
Oh, so they're not paranoid at all that there's like rats amongst them.
Not at all. Or, clearly they were very on the up and up and not doing anything skeevy.
No, nothing to worry about here.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Oh, yeah. This is all hearsay. Hearsay?
And wild speculation.
So
later...
This company's been out of business for 50 years. I think we're okay.
No, because nuclear power... They can't just they've been out of business, but they still have to clean up their waste.
You just bury it, move on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they all do.
That's what they did.
That's what they all... What else are they going to do?
Yeah, because later in 1989, it was...
real estate in that area, though, super cheap. No idea why.
Yeah. There's a manufacturer. I'll get to it. So later in 1989, it was discovered that the water and soil under the plant location is contaminated with over 400 times the amount of particles allowed by the EPA.
Oh, nice.
So they really did just...
That was in our lifetime.
Yes. That was the year I was born. You're supposed to say how old you were.
I knew I was one, but I was going to it was your birth year. I was going to let you have this one.
Oh, thank you. Next time. You never mentioned how old you were in the last one.
I was negative 1 million.
1925.
Negative 60 was something. Whatever. Anyway, proceed.
So 2 cooling ponds at the facility were also found to have 6 to 10 times the amount of contamination that was considered safe. At the time that this article that I'd found was written, this hadn't presented a problem to the drinking water of the surrounding towns. But who knows? Who knows how much it's spread now?
Maybe a little plutonium's good for you.
I'm sure. I mean, apparently there's a minimal amount of exposure you're safely allowed to have.
People take chromium or something.
Chromium's like a trace element that you actually need.
Maybe plutonium is. I
mean, we are exposed to
is
low level.
Is it a planet? I don't know.
That was bad.
Thank you.
You really knocked that out of the park, or solar system, whatever you want to.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's too soon.
Was that one written down?
No,
Okay,
which means that I lost my place. So nothing had, at that point, there hadn't been any problem to the drinking water of the surrounding towns. And the crescent plant was put
The
on...
mayor with 3 heads assured the civilians there's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
There's Johnny Knoxville from Men in Black.
But the crescent plant location was put on the national cleanup list, along with another facility also owned by Kerr-McGee. So there's like a list of like emergency like cleanup sites that they need to like deal with. Mm-hmm. 2 of their plants are on it.
Nice.
Yes. As of 1989.
We just napalm them. They're fine.
Totally. Just really pockets of gas going off everywhere. Bombs,
Aerosolize this stuff. That's...
safe.
Yeah.
Efficient. So now it has to be safer now because the building is now owned by some guy named Tom.
Oh, he sounds trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. He owns a company named Stewart Industries International, LLC, and they manufacture airplane parts out of the old facility.
Oh.
But
I hope he tells his employees.
I hope so too. Like the article that I read where they had like little blurbs from him was literally within the last like couple of years. So this is like an active being used to make
airplane parts.
Yes. He said you can see where they bored out chunks of the concrete down these 30-foot deep shafts that they used to store the plutonium.
Oh, it's fun.
I thought so. So that's how I'm wrapping it up. It's kind of
just a hard out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what the plant's doing currently.
Cool. Stewart something airplane parts.
Yep.
By a guy named Tom.
Yes. Seems legit, right?
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. So how do you feel after that one?
That one wasn't bad.
Was that more information than the last time that I tried to give it to you? Do you remember me trying to stumble my way?
I do remember. It's weird that they named like the type of shower after her. I feel like that was kind of like...
I think she might have been like... It's because she was so outspoken and they call her like an activist, like an awareness activist because of it. And it was a big deal because I don't know how many... They never mentioned who got... if anybody had been contaminated before or what was going on.
Well, there are probably people that were. They just all said they were. Like, the doctors probably told them, oh, yeah, you're contaminated, but it's fine.
Yeah, they're low levels. This is what you get for working here.
Yeah. And then they probably get cancer when they're 40-something.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, so that one's more... It's not like it sucks for, obviously, Karen. Like, I was more interested into, like, the shadiness of the car crash, but obviously there's no like more details about that.
No,
like
there was like a bloody notebook that was allegedly at the scene that was then no longer there, and the Kerr-McGee employees wound up following like the sheriff to where they wound up compounding the vehicle to check for impounding to check for I swear I have a college degree where they like quote unquote checked it for contamination because obviously she was contaminated. They also wanted to make sure that
there was a bologna sandwich in the passenger seat that was just super contaminated.
Yeah, with one bite missing out of it.
Dun dun dun. But no, that was good. Backstory to the story you tried to tell me once.
Yes. While drunk.
At Universal Studio.
Yep.
Yep.
With no form of like
technology.
Yes.
Just out of your brain.
But clearly a poor.
It's a dangerous place.
Well, it is. It really is. That's why we have a podcast now.
Which state was this in?
Shit. Oklahoma.
Okay.
I remember that off the top of my head somehow.
All right. We just don't. We don't do many Oklahoman. I don't know how Oklahomies. Oklahomian crimes. I think it's our first.
Okay.
Hashtag Oklahoma.
No.
All right. Well, if you made it this many minutes in, congrats.
Yep. Congratulations. I'm supposed to say bye.
No, you don't have to.
Sources.
Sources. Yeah, if you do have sources. So I don't have to edit them back in later. Make my life easy.
Yes. So I found a couple of Times articles. There was one article from 2014 and one from 1979, a History.com article, a KTUL news station, which is out of Oklahoma, PBS.org, and an article from the Los Alamos Science.
Your Spanish is on point.
I can't believe I passed Spanish.
I passed.
I passed. Barely.
Is that a...
I didn't even pass English. Can you believe I majored in it?
For a while.
I was offered a scholarship.
Anyway, I'm going to shout out social media.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, we have Facebook. Tell Me Something Terrible. Search it on Facebook. Don't search it in your status bar, which I've occasionally started typing things in there. And then I'm like, this is not where you put this.
No.
And Twitter is at TMSTpod.
Yes.
You can follow us. You could become our 7th follower. I don't know. It's
On
something
Twitter?
like that. Yeah, it's a low number.
That's your baby.
It's nobody's baby. It's like a fetus still. It wishes it was a baby, but it's still very much not. But we do post a lot of stuff there. Pictures, podcast stuff. And we're fairly reachable if you wanted to reach us. Like if you comment, we're going to read it.
Yeah, we do have a Gmail too.
Yeah, but social media is better.
Okay.
Nobody emails.
Some people email.
Nobody emails. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTpod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.
Oof, that was terrible.